Confidence is essential as a young man when it comes to enhancing your life experience. It is the bedrock of which you will experience life through, and it determines the lenses that you look through life. It determines how you feel and how you perform in life. And performance as a young man determines who you're going to be and how you're going to experience life. Now, there are plenty of ways you can improve your confidence, but they're very quick ways that I'm going to go through in this video. The first step is to dress well. Okay, dress the part, look the part, feel the part, play the part. Okay, if you dress well, it just gives you this surge of confidence, right? Now, even going away from just basic research and just trying to convince you, personal experience, I started dressing well about 2 or 3 years ago, and I haven't looked back since, right? Trying to match my outfits, trying to get the little accessories and match everything. I've not looked back since, because it changes how you're feeling going outside. Even if you're going to when I'm going to church or wherever I'm going, right? Every time I go out, I'm excited to dress up, look well, because now I know I've gotten to a point where I can dress really well. Everywhere I go, whenever I go out, there's always people looking at me. They always, because it's especially as a man, Hamza made a video a year ago that I'll never forget. It's the one that got me into his content. It's not easy it's not hard to get into the top 20% of men, right? Because, and then he's spoken about this plenty of times, most people are not even trying, right? So if you dress well, do you understand, I cannot tell you from personal experience, just telling you now, whenever I go out, wherever I go, there's always people staring. And I'm not just talking guys, women, literally women that are twice my age, they're looking at me, I'm just what the hell? But people look all the time, alright? Even kids and stuff and that sort of thing, just because they don't see guys dressing up well. I don't even spend, I've never spent I don't have anything in my wardrobe that's over 1,000 rands, which is $70 or something, right? I don't have anything that expensive at all. It's just making an effort to match and get better clothes that are nicer fitting, and just making an effort. I know it seems difficult, but it becomes exciting to go out, right? Because we all love that validation. I know we all try to look we're not vain and that sort of thing, but when I go out and people are looking at me, I'm loving it. Okay, I'm loving it, and that boosts your confidence, right? Not to mention the fact that just dressing well makes you look more attractive, makes you way more attractive, when you dress well. And it creates this feedback loop, because now when you're dressing well, people see you as more confident, and when you get that that messaging from them, you start to act more confident, they see you as more confident, and it just creates this feedback loop, which is perfect. That is what you want, right? Social dynamics, you always think about those people who've always been chads and that sort of thing. That's because they've had a positive feedback loop from the moment they were kids, right? They went to school, people wanted to be their friends, girls liked them and that sort of thing. They became confident with girls, and then girls liked them because they were confident, and then they created a feedback loop, and their life has been that all the time, and they've never struggled with girls, they've never struggled in a social aspect, right? You want to create a similar thing for you. You want to create that feedback loop, and dressing well is the number one thing. I can tell you right now, dressing well, it creates this. It's also a good way to signify status, right? You get these people who spend a lot of money on cars and that sort of thing, but I know you see all these billionaires who are oh, I'm Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg and that sort of thing. They wear the same thing every day because it removes that decision fatigue. Bro, honestly, screw that, right? They're billionaires and that sort of thing, but generally, you're not a billionaire, right? And you really want to take fashion advice from those kind of people? No. Dressing well will help you so much, especially in this day and age. It signifies status. Okay, people that are rich and that sort of thing. Anyone can go buy a car. You can get a big page, you can go buy a car. But if you dress nicely, right? If you just pull up a nice suit that's nicely fitting, you got a nice watch, you got a nice haircut, you're well groomed and that sort of thing, and you just walk with elegance and style, people are gonna notice. And it's not just, you don't even have to worry about gold diggers and that sort of thing. It's just, it creates this aura around you, and it creates that aura within you. You feel like a different person. Think about all the people you look up to. Think about the best characters that we all look up to. Your Patrick Batemans. Okay, don't look up to Patrick Bateman, but you get what I mean. Patrick Bateman, Thomas Shelby, Harvey Specter, all of them. Those kind of guys. What do they all have in common? Suits. They always suits. Now, I'm not saying go buy a suit. I'm just using this to get my point across about how important it is to dress well. Okay, apart from suits, I don't have a suit. The only suit I have was the one I had from my matric dance, which is South Africa's equivalent to a prom, right? It doesn't even fit nicely. Okay, it was just too big. But I don't even wear that. I have other things. I've been investing in shirts. I've got accessories. I've been building slowly but surely. I don't have that much money to be spending on my wardrobe. But I don't have anything crazy. Just trying to dress better. it makes the world a difference. I'm going to convince you, if it's anything you're going to take from this video, dress better. Just make an effort in dressing better. Okay, every time you like, get a chance to like buy new clothes, just watch like fashion videos, like teaching men's fashion. That's where I started learning everything, and then now I start looking at people that have style that I want, and then I do that. I like replicate that. I look at what I want to do. Like I start seeing people getting rings now. I literally like last week bought like new rings. They didn't even fit nicely, but you see what I'm saying? Like just making an effort makes all the difference. Okay, now that I've beaten that point to a pulp, I hope you understand how important it is. Let's move on to the next point. Before I move on to the next point, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button to join the self-improvement brotherhood. Yeah, so step 2, you want to build an alter ego, and I think I mentioned this in my last video. I'm going to be mentioning this in every video. Alter ego, right? Because it's top down. I don't know if it's top down or bottom up, but basically you get the point I'm trying to make. Like if you have an alter ego, it spreads into everything in your life. I think that's top down. It's top down, right? So you create an alter ego and it flows into every single aspect of your life. It flows into how you conduct yourself in social situations, how you walk. It conducts like all your decisions. Like, am I gonna get up early in the morning again today? It's like, oh, if you're waking up early to train, it's like, oh, I'm an athlete, I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna train. If you're like what you're eating, if you want to eat well, it's like, oh, I'm an athlete, I eat well, that sort of thing. If you want to work, it's like, oh, this guy, right? Like I don't know if you're studying to be a lawyer and you want to be like Harvey Specter, or I don't know. When I was struggling to like study, I like imagine like people like Thomas Shelby, right? I'm like, Thomas Shelby is someone who gets work done regardless of how he feels and that sort of thing. I was like, okay, I'm like Thomas Shelby, I'm trying to build my own empire. It was just studying, it didn't really have anything to do with that, but just trying to integrate that, it motivates you, because that's how you carry yourself. So having an alter ego is important. I need you to build your alter ego. If you haven't done it from like the last video, build an alter ego. Just think about it. Think about an alter ego you want to like embody, right? And then you integrate that into your life, and that's going to do the world of difference to your confidence, right? And the third point I want to give you is just remember that no one really cares about you, okay? Like, how many people do you remember that you've like walked out and you like looked at other people and you remember like what they did? Can you remember the last time you remember someone like that like tripped or something, or did something embarrassing? Maybe you might be able to remember now that I've told you, but like generally, do you think about that? No, you don't, because you're always worried about yourself. When you go out, you're worried about how you're looking. You're always like micromanaging your hair or your clothes or whatever because you don't want people to see you as bad. But everyone else is doing that. Right? We're all like narcissistic. We all like care about ourselves. We want to like be liked, right? So we're not like worried about other people. Once you remember that thing, you could go like in like the middle of a mall and it's packed. You could trip and fall on your face and like start crying or whatever, right? Like people are not gonna like remember that kind of. They'll remember it if you mention it to them, but it's not gonna be like, you're not gonna like call them up like a month later, like, and people are gonna be talking like, oh, do you remember that guy that fell at the mall and like fell on his face? No, it's not that big a deal, and you're not even doing that. You're just walking out and just doing whatever. If you stutter, if you mess up a sentence, or if you do whatever, you're not going to remember that. Even a girl, if you go up and you ask her for a girl's number and you just like stuff it up for whatever reason, and it's just a really awkward exchange, she's gonna forget about that like very quickly, and that should like give you more confidence, right? Like people don't care about you; they only care about themselves, right? And then the fourth point, which I think it probably ties into everything else, is like just have like positive thoughts, okay? If you walk out and like you see, I remember the first time I was telling you the story about how when I dress well and like people like are like looking or whatever. The first time I thought like people were looking at me like I was weird, right? Then it started happening more often, and I was dressing better, and more people were doing it. And then I realized I just decided to have this attitude about they're looking at me because I'm dressed nicely, and other people aren't. Right? They aren't like they don't see that as often, right? And now every time someone like looks at me, I just assume that, right? It's like that thing when Andrew Tate said, "Oh, I don't believe in depression," because why would you believe in something that doesn't serve you, right? It doesn't help you. So when you're walking out, and that's the thing, I'm tying with like the third point I said, where it's like people don't really care that much. When someone looks at you, you think they're giving you a judgmental look. No, they're just looking to like check you out and that sort of thing. They're looking to see if you're worthy of like trying to go to talk to you or whatever. They're just like they're passing a judgment, but it's not like they're looking at you like, look at this weirdo. Okay, have positive thoughts. Like when people are looking at you, especially if you do start dressing nice, it becomes like blatantly clear that people are looking at you because you're dressed nice, and that gives you like this confidence, right? And I need you to start having that. There's no point looking at when you see someone looking at you and you think it's like a negative kind of thing. It doesn't serve you. I want you to have positive thoughts. And the fifth and final point, just give yourself like a little pep talk. Again, like the alter ego thing I was telling you about, that definitely helps as well. Stand in front of the mirror, back straight, shoulders back. That's another thing. And like in Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, he has another thing like that where he says stand tall with your shoulders back and that sort of thing. It's having good posture. Again, it helps like your confidence. Like you heard about that thing where it's like if you stand like in a Superman pose like this for like 2 minutes in front of the mirror, it instantly like gives you so much more confident. You can do that. If you don't want to, you don't have to do that. But just look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, I'm the man. Just tell yourself, I'm the man. Right? You tie that in with like dressing well, having like the alter ego effect and that sort of thing. And everything I've said in this video, you set like you're confident. That doesn't even take that long, right? You set out your outfit before the night before, and you get up in the morning, you put on your outfit, you get into like your alter ego mode, and you look in the mirror and you just tell yourself, I'm the man. That's not going to take more than 2 minutes to just do that in the morning. It's a little routine, and you just get used to it, and you have more confidence. That's the video, guys. I hope like this video made sense, and make sure you guys hit the subscribe button below to join the Self-Improvement Brotherhood. Leave me any comments if you guys have like any sort of questions you want to address, but implement this, like use it, okay? It could do you the world of good. And until next time, I'll see you boys.